Welcome everybody to Let's Play Crusader Kings 3. As always, I'm your host J2 and we are back once again with an old friend. Except she's not old. She's brand spanking new. That's right, Crusader Kings 3 is now released, available for purchase on Steam, through the Paradox Store, and it's also available on Xbox Game Pass for PC as well for the first time. So, great ways to get access to the game. We were able to do a live stream of the game the day before launch, and the enthusiasm from our audience was just spectacular. The reviews have been coming in for the game, and they have been glowing. I'm excited to get started here with our very first official campaign. And, you know, I thought long and hard about it. You know, what would be our first campaign? And you can't beat the classic, folks. I feel it's just important that we kick off our playthroughs of Crusader Kings 3 right. And to do that, we've got to go back to Scotland. So here we can see our interface here, where we can select different rulers to choose from. There are two main scenarios in Crusader Kings 3 at the moment, 867 and 1066. These are the only two scenarios currently available. There's also a tutorial that I highly encourage everyone to play, just so that way they can get a grasp of the mechanics of the game, because they are a bit different. And I do recommend this tutorial. It is, head over heels better than the original in Crusader Kings 2. So if you want to select any ruler, you can just click play as any ruler in 1066, and what will happen is that the map will generate all the rulers and all the player characters up front, and then it will give you this map here that you can then choose from. And it's a beautiful map. I love the design of it, actually, especially when you start to dive into specifics. But all you have to do, click on a country, and then you have access to the character here. You can kind of double click on an individual county, and then you got access to the vassals within. So it's very similar to how that works in Crusader Kings 2. In this case here, we're going to be picking Scotland with King Malcolm III currently in control. I thought about playing as a vassal in Scotland, but I thought, it really doesn't feel right if it's not House Dunkeld. That was our first family, if you will, and I want to see what we can do with her in Crusader Kings 3. Now, I do want to showcase really quickly here the game rules. There are a few changes here from those that are familiar with Crusader Kings 2. Not everything from Crusader Kings 2 was ported over into Crusader Kings 3. A lot of it was. So, the map is huge. The facets to things like way of life and the conclave, as far as council members go, that's all still there. But other things like you're not able to play as a republic currently in the game at launch, or you're not able to play as a nomad in-game at launch. Things like that. There are no societies at launch for this game right now. They've kind of streamlined a lot, Paradox has at least, streamlined a lot of the game so that way it's as easy as possible for people to get into. I don't know if they're going to be adding more content later on, like that content as part of DLC. They have announced that Ruler Designer will be made available for free as a free DLC update in the near future, so I'm looking forward to that. But as far as game rules go, we've got difficulty, we've got exclave independence. You can set up multiplayer rules for murder schemes, minor diseases, gender equality, regional heresies, obviously the Mongol invasion time frame, Cassius Belli cost you can choose to get rid of or keep around, culture and faith conversion speeds, diplomatic range. Here's a new one. You can actually turn off the end date to the game. It no longer has to be 1453, which I think is fantastic. We've got a de jure requirement. For land, we've got custom kingdoms on, journeying families on, same-sex relations being default, sexuality distribution being default, acceptance, no randomized faith, no ruler placements. These are kind of like your Shattered Realm sort of situations, although it's not quite as specific as that. And then finally, character nudity, which is a new feature because the actual models for the game are models and no longer just portraits. There is an option for character nudity, and the Hungarian migration has its own historical and non-historical options here. So those are the current game rules at the moment. I'm sure that they will be changed as new updates and new DLC come out for the game. You can choose to just click to observe. You no longer have to work in the back end as far as the developer code or whatever it was called to observe. You can just simply click observe and you're good to go. And you can choose as a random character, the same as before. Multiplayer is no longer a separate feature as far as like your single player and multiplayer. You just kind of say open for multiplayer and people are able to just come on in. Cool. Let's go ahead and get started here. So we'll be playing as Scotland, as I said. We're not changing any of the game rules. We're not changing the difficulty. The difficulty, by the way, is either normal, easy, or very easy. There is no hard. Normal is hard. And of course, we always play on hard mode, so why not, right? Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are now in Scotland. And you notice I've moved my camera right now because there's a lot of information that's going to be popping up on the screen. And I think right now this is the best placement for the camera. We'll see how that goes. But like I said, a lot of information about to come through. First off, the UI is completely changed, okay? So we're going to start off from the top. So going off the top, we've still got our notifications as far as decisions to do. So right now we've got a no lifestyle chosen option. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. We've also got issues. So all of our issues, which used to have their own little buttons, now are a drop-down that you can kind of see all together here, which is nice. It consolidates the view. It allows me to kind of like very easily skim through what are the current issues we need to take care of. We still have our monthly income. We still have our prestige. We still have our piety. Those are unchanged. We have renown, which is separate now from our prestige. This is more of a dynasty renown. We have total number of soldiers that we have available to us. We have our domain holdings. There's a smaller domain limit in game based on your title, based on your stewardship and whatever special skills you have. So it's not like you're going to be able to grab a whole bunch of land anymore to hold for yourself. You're going to have to share. The outliner here allows us to kind of see our pinned characters, any armies that we've raised, and whatever holdings that we have. As you can see, we've got 3 holdings here. On the right, you can see different tabs here. So we've got our realm tab here first. This highlights the vassals that are in our territory, our crown authority, which we can choose to like update the laws for. It also allows us to see any sort of republic vassals that we have, the city vassals, also our succession laws. So right now we have a partition succession law, which is all children inherit equally. The new word for gavelkin, folks, is partition, and it's still terrible. Not a fan, but we'll see what we can do about that in the future. And then, of course, we've got our domain, allowing us to see what we have as far as our territory is concerned. Next up, we've got our military tab. This allows us to see the total number of soldiers again in our territory. We have levies, and then we have special characters called knights. These are also known as just commanders, or just they're special units that allow you to join your army and really kind of do like a Dynasty Warriors thing where they do some heavy damage. They use their prowess skill to fight more effectively. They cannot be a commander and a knight at the same time, though, so you have to be careful about how you want to manage them. Your men-at-arms is the new word for retinue. So you can just create a men-at-arms regiment, and then just, based on cost, and then based on unit reinforcement rate, build up your retinue the same way. Just called men-at-arms now. Set up your monthly reinforcement, the same as before. You've got access to mercenaries here. Mercenaries are a little changed from Crusader Kings 2. They are more expensive up front right away, and smaller as far as the total force sizes are concerned. There is a new feature called Quality of the Soldier, so it allows you to kind of see how well an army will perform, a small army will perform with a higher quality versus a large army and a low quality. Like, for example, if I was to send this high quality army versus, let's say, a force of, 1,500 to 2,000 peasants, this high quality army probably will still win, honestly. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, holy orders. Right now at the moment, no Catholic holy orders. Next up, we've got our council. So our council set up very similarly to Crusader Kings 2. We've got our wife as our queen. She is allowing us to either assist our ruler directly, which gives us a little bit of bonuses, or we can kind of like specialize her in a particular area. Always, this is always a benefit, for marriages are concerned. So definitely want to make sure that you are taking advantage of this. Then, of course, we've got our archbishop here, which is our realm priest. We've got our chancellor. We've got our steward. We've got our marshal, and we've got our spy master. And oh boy, I can already see fun times awaiting. But we'll get into that in just a minute. As far as the actions that can be taken by our counselors, they are located here on the left here. 3 options per counselor normally. Sometimes they are unavailable, just depending on what the actions are. And then you can see that we've got our realm priest that endorses us, which means that we get taxes and levies from him, which is great. And we can see if some of them are powerful vassals or not powerful vassals, same as before. Next up, we've got our court, which is just the total number of subjects within our domain, our realm. We also have guests, which are new in Crusader Kings 3. Wanderers, just general wanderers, unlanded subjects can kind of arrive in your court as guests. They'll only stay for a short period of time, but you can choose to pay to recruit them to join your forces. Most of them are pretty junky, like Duncan here, for example. Not great, but every now and again you'll come across a good one, like Giuseppe? Giuseppe, yes. No, Gillespie. One of those words. We can see that he's a competent commander. 12 martial and 1 commander trait. We may want to consider to recruit him. All you do is click on recruit. We pay 10 gold to Giuseppe. Gillespie. Nope. It's not Giuseppe. Gilesby. Maybe it's Gilesby. I'm going to go with that one. Let's go with that one. So we can recruit him to court. Now, there is an option for a hook, and we'll get into that when we get into the intrigue menu as well. But we'll go ahead and recruit this guy to court. And now we can see that he has now been recruited to court. Very good. We can search for a physician. We can invite more knights, and we can invite claimants to our court as well. This is also the tab where you want to check on your prisoners. Right now, the prison is empty. Now let's talk about intrigue. So intrigue, we've got schemes. So these are the actions that we can take to, these were the plots of Crusader Kings 2. You got murder schemes, abduction schemes, the scheme to claim a throne, fabricate a hook. You've also got personal schemes. So you can interact with a character for a personal scheme like seduction, let's say. That would be a personal scheme. Or you can have a secret scheme. And these are schemes that you've discovered from others. Like, for example, you've discovered someone is having an affair. So that is a discovered secret scheme. Now, hooks are what you can do to think of them as the favors of Crusader Kings 2. And you can gain them through finding out people's secrets and blackmailing them. So you can have hooks into people to have them do your bidding. For example, we've got hooks right now in Prince Donald and Prince Malcolm. These are weak hooks, so we can force people to do marriages, or they can't be used to force somebody to murder somebody. So there's weak versus strong. Every child born to a noble house also holds the noble head and initial weak hook. That's why our kids here have hooks. We have factions. obviously. I mean, that's a thing that just, you know, is you're never going to get rid of them, especially in Scotland. There are no factions currently against us, which is great. We do have Buchan here, who's not allowed to join a faction right now because he's underage. And then finally, decisions. These have not changed, although they've added a few. We can found a holy order. It costs us gold and piety. We can consecrate a bloodline, but we don't fulfill all the requirements. If you click on it, it'll tell you what requirements you need. The Pope needs to have an opinion of at least 75 with us. We need to control one or more of the Catholic sites. Our level of devotion is religious icon 5, which is level 5 or above. So level of devotion is a new feature in the game where as you increase your piety and you don't spend it, and how well like you interact with people of the same faith as you, you will progress toward the next level of devotion. So it's dutiful, faithful, devoted servant, paragon of virtue, religious icon. And then finally, you have to have 2,500 piety to spend. Same thing with strengthen the bloodline. You've got to have good traits. You've got to have trait from the beautiful characters group. So we have a dynasty of many crowns. One day, our dynasty will rule the realms across the world. The Dunkeld name will be known to all. So we can gain dynasty of many crowns, which is a trait to have. We can found a new empire, request a claim on Ireland, but we need to have the Pope sanction that, and a bunch of other options, a bunch of other requirements that we need. And then decisions like inviting knights, inviting claimants, converting to a local culture. So right now, we are Scottish, but the local culture in our territory, if we zoom in here in Gallery, the local culture is Gaelic. So that's why we have the option to convert to a local culture. We can go on a pilgrimage, host a feast if we have the money for it, call a hunt, and search for a physician. Notice how the money has increased in cost from Crusader Kings 2. Not to worry too much about that. Your gold has also, the gold production has also increased from Crusader Kings 2 as well. And then finally, searching for a physician, which we will go ahead and do. So a court physician is essential to care for the sick and wounded at my court. I will ask my servants to bring forth a number of suitable candidates. We will go ahead and start the search. Excellent. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen here, we can see the map. We have different options for the map as well. So this right here is the political map, the realm map as it is. We can switch over to duchy specific, kingdom specific, empire specific. So we can see that we would be focusing, trying to get the Britannia Empire long term. We've also got our faiths. So we've got Catholicism is our faith here. We've also got a variety of different Islamic faiths right now. Ashari, Mulwadi, Ibadi. There's no more... you wouldn't call them heresies anymore in Crusader Kings 3. Like, in Crusader Kings 2, there was one main religion, and then there were heresies that, while, people wouldn't like each other because they were a heretic versus not a heretic. That's kind of the case still in Crusader Kings 3, although you wouldn't call them heresies. It's just that other faiths will consider them to be hostile, and we'll go over that in just a moment. We have cultures here. And finally, our houses. So we have Dunkeld there, Godwin, so on and so forth. If we open up the plus sign here, there's also options to see the individual counties, which there are a lot of in this game. We've got our terrain, development, and governments. Right now, there are only 3 governments that you can play as in-game: feudal, tribal, or clan. Clan being primarily the Islamic faiths. Feudal for feudalist governments, and then tribal for tribal governments. Okay, down to the very bottom, we've got our timer, game speed from slowest to fastest. Our date right now, September the 15th, 1066. We've got our search function, which I absolutely love now in Crusader Kings 3. Much faster. Being able to find a character loads up really quickly here. If I wanted to, say, focus on, let's try and find Duncan here. First name matches Duncan. There's Duncan right there. Really quick, loads right in. A variety of different filters here as well. Really nice. You can find titles the same way. And again, loads in really quickly. There's Scotland right there. The Roman Empire. I know some of you are already curious about that. That is a thing. So very easy to kind of go into different titles there. Okay. After that, you've got access to lineage. So this is all the characters that we will play as directly. You can see access to the level of fame and then level of devotion. And then finally, just quickly going to our capital here, over there in gallery. Finally, bottom left, so we've got our character here, King Malcolm III, Canmore of Scotland. But before we click on him, right to his left now, we've got stress level. So this is something that's new in the game in Crusader Kings 3, which is stress levels. Before it was just plain old you're stressed as a trait. So stress levels go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. As you increase stress, there's more of a chance of your character having like a psychotic breakdown. Not great. Not a great thing to have. So what happens actually, which is pretty interesting, is that if you force your character to do things that their traits say they shouldn't be doing, you have the possibility to incur stress. In addition to that, if bad things generally happen to your character or your character's family, you will incur stress. Then if good things happen, you can decrease stress. So back and forth like that. We've got our House Dunkeld. I like how we've got house words now. And our house words in House Dunkeld are be loyal. And I feel like that's more of a warning for the folks that are following us in our kingdom. Especially this guy right here, Duke Mael Schnechdai Maclulach of Moray, and of course, you know who, Duke Gospatrick of Lothian. Those two individuals need to follow those words very closely. But let's go ahead and take a look at Malcolm here. Malcolm, this is our character. We are already married to Ingeborg, Finn's daughter of Scotland. We are wrathful, we are cynical, we are arrogant, we are a charismatic negotiator, and we are quick. We've got 5 titles, 3 of them being the territories that we control, and then of course the ducal title, and then the kingdom title as well. We have 3 of 5 total domain holdings under our control. We have 3 kids right now. Prince Duncan is our heir, our main heir at least, but we also have Prince Donald here and Prince Malcolm. We also have 3 siblings. Donald the Fair Dunkeld, Earl Malmuir of Athol, and Earl Waltheof Seedwardson of Northamptonshire, who actually follows Northumbria, which is interesting. He's our half-brother. Doesn't really count. So that's our character here. We can see that his stats are 17 Diplomacy, marks it as excellent, 13 Martial, good, 12 Stewardship, average, 11 Intrigue, average, and 4 Learning, terrible. We also have Prowess, which is average. That's, again, going back to the concept of knights and how much damage a character can do. The higher prowess that you have, the more damage you can do to an army, and the better you'll fare when it comes to, like, combat situations. Personal combat situations, that is. We are Catholic, and we are part of the Scots culture. We also have confidants. When things are tough, this character always has someone to turn to. We decrease our stress gain by 5%. We have 2 relationships. We have a friend, Tostig Godwinson of Godwin, and our rival, Duke Mael Schnechdai Maclulach of Moray. I'm getting better with the names. It's been 8 years, but I'm getting better with the names. Here's our court. Again, another way to see our court and our vassals. So, the only vassal that we really have to worry about right now is Mael Schnechdai. Everyone else is kind of okay with us. Fife might be an issue with us, but Mael Schnechdai is the worst. And he's also our spy master, which doesn't help things either. I probably will change that in just a moment. This is the Catholic faith that we have right now. We have got an organized Christian faith with specific tenets. So this is kind of like going back to the concept of forming religions. They've taken that from Crusader Kings 2, added to it, and then put it into Crusader Kings 3. We've got armed pilgrimages, communion, and monasticism as our belief tenets. We've also got our holy sites being Jerusalem, Rome, Cologne, Santiago, and Canterbury. Each religion has its own set of sins and virtues. So no longer is it now just like if you're humble, if you're chaste, if you're temperate, if you're diligent, those are all virtues. Not necessarily the case anymore. So here our sins in the Catholicism are lustful, gluttonous, deceitful, sadistic, and vengeful. But our virtues are chaste, temperate, honest, compassionate, and forgiving. So those will change depending on the faith that you are a part of. We can even create a new Christian faith, in the long term if we wanted to as well. So we also have our doctrines here: male-dominated, righteous, theocratic, ecumenism, and then the specific doctrines within: monogamous marriage, divorce must be approved, you can legitimize bastards, shun same-sex marriage, criminal deviancy, shun adultery, don't kill your kin, so on and so forth. So there's Catholicism here. You can see other faiths. You've got Orthodoxy, Coptic Christian faith, Nestorianism, Apostolic, Insular Christianity, which is primarily in Ireland at this time, Christiani, Conversos, and then others that currently have zero followers or zero counties that follow, but they will still be counted as faiths and not necessarily heresies, if that makes sense. Cool. Lastly, we've got our culture area here. So we have Scots culture. Now, every culture has its own innovation. So right now, innovation in Scotland is currently based around things like battlements, horseshoes, arch saddles. So we have a fascination right now with horseshoes. So we're trying to focus on that right now. It's expected to be discovered in about 53 years. If your ruler has better learning, this time will decrease, and then you'll get access to like these special effects, which is like movement speed, or levy size increase, or, size of the men-at-arms regiment is increased. Things like that. So it's nice to have. So learning has a function now besides just like being there as your dump stat, more or less. It makes sense to like have a little bit of focus in learning. Okay. That kind of wraps up everything here. And we're already 30 minutes in. So I think what we'll do is we will end our video here at kind of like an episode 0 sort of thing. And then we'll immediately start back up with episode 1 and kind of kick things off. But I'm looking forward to showcasing this game to you all. I hope you all enjoy the upcoming campaign. And until next time, this is J2 signing off, saying so long and take care.